Stealing grass. Man doesn't own the grass. The mountains own the grass. God owns the grass. And you're no God, Jacob Dutton!
In the new Paramount Plus series 1923, we see actors bring history to life, giving us a glimpse of what the world was like 100 years ago.
This is the Yellowstone, and you have no rights here.
The show, serving as a prequel to hit series Yellowstone, follows the Dutton family as they face the historic challenges of prohibition, drought, economic downturn, and more. Through its first 3 episodes, the show has reeled in audiences with its intense scenes, remarkable storytelling, and gripping action. To make a show as intricate and compelling as 1923, there has to be a lot going on that we don't see. In this video, we are going to go behind the scenes to give you a picture of how 1923 is brought together, from how the scenes are created to special insights from the actors themselves. So let's jump into some of the behind-the-scenes insights that bring this story to life, starting with number 1. The immersive set design transforms the story. When watching 1923, you may forget that you are watching a show that is filmed in 2022 and not 100 years ago. On the screen, we see the history come together, but behind the scenes, there is so much going on that we don't know about. The show does an incredible job of immersing us in the time period, largely because of the attention to detail put into the set design. In every scene, we see elements of the 1920s, from the classic cars to the wardrobes of the actors in the background of each scene. The team behind the show created unique storefronts, vendors, signs, and even their own props. A dedicated prop master on the team worked to create items from gun belts to saddles that fit the time period. The staff even went as far as to construct the entire Dutton Lodge in the show to make sure everything was realistic, down to the final detail. The show created the atmosphere of the 20 seconds to the point where the actors felt like they were in the 1920s themselves. Altogether, 1923 is so successful at immersing us in the times because the entire set is developed to recreate them.
It just feels so real. It just feels like you're then getting to react as opposed to having to come up with something and fake it. And even the clothes, as soon as you slip those on, everything is so authentic. It helps a lot. So it's really fun to get to do that and to learn about your past while you get to work too.
The detail put into the set ultimately makes the show feel authentic and undeniable in its presentation of the time period. All of this helps to recreate the incredible history behind the show and make the storytelling even more powerful. Have you noticed this in the show? What stands out from the set to you? Let us know in the comments. The set design is just one aspect of how 1923 brings us into the historical world. Insight number 2 plays an important part also. The stunning cinematography expands our view. When we watch 1923, we can't help but become invested in the show thanks to the vivid imagery and stunning shots across the various scenes. The incredible cinematography behind 1923 is brought together largely by the careful production of the show. Even the actors themselves were impressed by the work of director and executive producer Ben Richardson.
Ben is such an artist. He is a fantastic director in so many ways.
He's so tender about everything he does. He shows up to work really wanting to create art.
Pulling off the intense action shots we see in the show is not easy, especially with so many moving parts. However, one of the reasons 1923 handles the task so well is that Richardson uses 5 to 6 cameras for each scene. Using this many cameras helps provide extra life to each scene by capturing different angles of each moment and helping the viewer to feel like they are there with the actors. The number of cameras also help to make the filming process quicker and provide more footage to work from. The actors also credit the director for how he managed the actors playing their parts in the scenes. The actors discuss how they felt free to make decisions while receiving effective feedback that allowed them to make their scenes better.
He makes you feel free to make bold decisions, and he doesn't judge you for them. But he's also a perfectionist, so he's always honest about what he thinks about your...
From the remarkable camera shots to the intricate details of how the actors handle their parts, the moments of 1923 are even more powerful. Let us know your favorite scenes and shots from the show in the comments. Another way that the moments of 1923 demonstrate the power is through the actors themselves, leading us to insight number 3. The bonds between the actors carry the show. On the screen, we see many dramatic moments and even gut-wrenching interactions between the characters. However, off the screen, the actors maintain a strong relationship that helps them focus on portraying the intense emotion. Even in the most brutal scenes, like those that play out in the Native American boarding school, the actors make sure that they are careful to protect each other and support each other as the emotions from portraying such intense moments boil over. Amanda Neves, who plays Tiana, and Jennifer Ale, who plays Sister Mary, talk about how the cast looks out for each other and maintain a lot of trust during filming.
A lot of warmth, and we we keep our channels of communication are really open. So.
Oh yes, you have
And very loving.
The actors all have very positive things to say about each other and talk highly of working with their castmates, discussing how well they bonded on set.
That was nice. And then getting in that time, we get to create all these great bonds with our castmates.
The chemistry between the cast on the show certainly helps them take the emotion in the scenes to the next level, and we are fortunate to see it all play out in front of us. However, the scenes are based more than just emotion and chemistry, as we learn from behind the scene inside number 4. The show is carefully rooted in history. Obviously, when we watch 1923, we know that the show is based on the time period from 100 years ago. However, when taking a look behind the scenes, we learn that the show takes the history behind it very seriously. The writing of 1923 makes sure that the historical accuracy is taken into account and highlighted throughout the show. One example is the intense scenes that take place in the Native American boarding school. Amanda Neves talks about how she sees the importance of her role in telling the history of her ancestors.
being Indigenous, it's our duty to tell our stories and to tell them as strongly and powerfully as we can. You know, it's what we're born into, and we're storytellers from the jump, you know what I'm saying? So continuing to tell our story as honestly as we can is very important.
Altogether, the show puts very careful attention to detail in not only telling the story of the fictional Dutton family, but also of American history.
Essential part of it is how did America become America? How did that happen? And I think that because we have the beauty of the arc of television, where instead of telling a story in 2 hours as John Ford had to, you know, we can tell a story over 14 hours, you know, we can tell, and history needs that, because history is so full of complexity and intricate detail, and everything connects to something else.
The show highlights key moments of American history, covering so many aspects like Prohibition, the birth of the automobile, the lead into the Great Depression, and more. Ultimately, 1923 tells a vast origin story of the United States while focusing on the Duttons. The real and accurate history behind the show only adds to the authenticity and makes the scenes all the more powerful for viewers. You can learn more about the history behind some of 1,923 seconds more shocking scenes by clicking on the video in the corner of the screen. By now, you can see how authenticity is a massive part of what has made 1923 the success that it is so far. This authenticity is even clearer when we hear from the actors, bringing us to inside number 5. The actors are genuinely excited about their parts. While watching 1923, it is no secret that the show features excellent writing. But when we take a look behind the scenes, we see that there is something special and powerful that sets the show apart from just any other show on TV right now. The actors are genuinely excited about their roles and are individual fans of the show and its writing.
Taylor does such a good job of writing these in-depth characters, right? So he lets out the blueprint, and then it's our job to bring them to life. But we definitely start with such a great outline for us, and getting to watch these shows and seeing Kevin Costner on Yellowstone and the amazing work they did in 1883, it definitely inspired me for 1923.
For the actors, the writing and powerful concepts of the show play an important part of what makes the show so enjoyable, both to watch and to make. Many actors from the show have praised the writing of the show, the work that writer Taylor Sheridan has done, and expressed their excitement about working on the show. Not to mention, the cast is full of star power and features many experienced actors, so their endorsements of the show say a lot. Even movie star Harrison Ford has said that the reason he wanted to participate in 1923 was the impressive concept behind the show.
I wanted to do it because I liked the writing, and I thought it was an ambitious, incredibly ambitious and vigorous character to play, and seemed like a good idea at the time.
For 1923, the actors are doing more than just taking on another acting role. They are clearly excited and passionate about the roles they are playing. And their passion for making the most of their roles is a big reason why we see the emotion jump off the screen and captivate our attention. There you have it, a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes of 1923. What stands out from behind the scenes of 1923 for you? What do you think of the show itself? Let us know in the comments. Drop a like on this video and share it with your friends so they can also see what's going on behind the scenes of the hit show. And make sure to subscribe to the Weekday Watch so that you don't miss all of the buzz and excitement surrounding your favorite shows and movies, including honest reviews, recaps, breakdowns, and more. And click the bell so that you can get all of the updates as they happen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.